What's up, everybody? It's Elgato. How's it going? In this fine episode of review, we have a review of the Elgato GameCapture HD, not the HD60, the HD. So in this video, we are going to take a look at this fine capture card here, and I'm going to describe my experiences with it, because I've had it for a very long time, and it's actually going away. It's going to my good friend. I'm not going to say his name now, but I will later, probably, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I have to ask him. I didn't ask him if I could do that before I started this video, but that's okay. So anyway, so let's get to it. So what are we gonna do? One quick thing. This is not the normal format for these videos, and I just want to make that clear that these two videos are gonna be a bit different, because I'm gonna actually be going off of a script that I wrote that is actually an article that I had written for my website that is no longer in existence. So yeah, it's all still valid, everything's 100% accurate and all that stuff. It just kind of, it's a very different format from what we're used to on this channel, and I just want to make it clear that that's not the normal format for these videos. This is kind of just a 2-time kind of thing, maybe 3-time, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so normally I won't be scripting these videos, or any of my videos for that matter. It's just, you know, occasionally I need to script a video in order to get my thoughts out in a more concise and non-rambly, hopefully, kind of manner. So yeah, I will be doing a separate video on an overview for just capture cards in general, just to kind of explain what these things are and why we need them. But until then, I will be doing a very brief summary of what these things are and why we need them, things like that, in this video. But yeah, I will have a much more in-depth kind of video at a later date, explaining, you know, what capture cards are, why we need them, what they do, you know, all that kind of stuff, where they came from, you know, things like that. But as well as some cool tricks that you can do if you can't afford one. I will have some cool tips and tricks if you can't afford a capture card but have a webcam. You can pull off some pretty cool stuff, because that's what I did when I first started my channels. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is a video about the Elgato GameCapture HD, so let us talk about that today. And we will do that, and it is going to be a thing, and it shall be done. So, without further ado, cue the narration. Interesting timing. Fair enough. I just got a text from Robert, my friend. You know what? I'm sure he'll be fine if I say his name. I just did anyway. This capture card's going to my best friend Robert, one of my best friends, Robert. And yeah, because he needs it more than I do. And I thought, hey, you know, I have this thing, I'm not using it, might as well give it to somebody who I know is going to take care of it and needs it. So yeah, it has done great work for me, so I know it can do great work for him. So it's going away. I don't know if it's going away permanently or not. We'll find out. But I guess that's kind of up to him. If he wants to keep it, then he can keep it. Otherwise, it's, yeah. Anyway, neither here nor there. Let's get to the video. Hello, everybody. It is I, Elgato. I know you just saw me, but hey, hi. This is my first attempt at doing this narration, so hopefully it doesn't suck. Yes, hello phone. I'm putting you on vibrate so that you don't make noise. Thank you. Alright, so this is gonna be kind of weird for me, but, you know, whatever. We'll deal with it. So, one other thing is, I don't really know what to put in here for a video piece. So hopefully it's not too bizarre. I'm not really sure if it's going to be or not, but regardless, it should be interesting but not distracting from my voice, hopefully. So here we go. This ought to be interesting. All right. So I'm using my phone to read the script because my MacBook is currently under a pile of stuff. So I don't want to get rid of that stuff currently at the moment. So we're not going to do that. In any case, all right. So hello and welcome to my review of the Elgato GameCapture HD. Not the HD60, the HD. In this video, I will describe my experiences with this wonderful little capture card. Oh, excuse me. In hopes that I might aid you in deciding which card is right for you, or at the very least, give you something interesting to watch. Or, in this case, most likely listen to. By the way, in case you were wondering, this video is not sponsored by Elgato. With that out of the way, let's get started. No, I was debating on doing this part, but screw it, I'll just do it. Unfortunately, I don't really have any pictures for this part, but that's okay. So, I'll find something to put in there. Anyway, so, in the past, if you wanted to record something, you either used your VCR or a video camera. This was cumbersome, and you had to faff around with tapes and cables everywhere and all kinds of other stuff. Also, if you forgot to press record, you could miss out on very critical family moments, or in my personal case, those epic kills in Halo 2. The old days definitely sucked. Today, however, it's a little different. Everywhere you look, you see gadgets. Everyone is staring at their phones, alert tones constantly going off. This world we live in has gone and gotten itself in a big freaking hurry. It makes sense that technology has something for everything. These days, instead of VCRs, we have Blu-ray players. Instead of big studio cameras, we have capture cards. This is the way the world evolves, and with it, our needs as people. Elgato was one of the first companies to really get out there and capitalize on this ever-growing market, but they didn't do it on purpose. Like some of the best ideas, they just sort of stumbled across this concept. See, Elgato came out with a device known as the iTV in 2002. It included a cable tuner and a hardware encoding system for encoding TV programs to watch on a computer via USB. You could also connect it to a VCR or a video camera via the RCA sockets on the device. So how did Elgato pioneer the capture card? Well, it was really the modders out there that did the work, but Elgato took notice and went a gigantic step further with it. So, I mean, I'm not discounting, you know, Elgato's work here at all. They did a massive amount of work with this thing, and they took something that modders just kind of cobbled together and hoped it worked, and they took it way far beyond anybody's expectations with this device. So this thing really jump-started the whole capture card industry, I feel. Because, I mean, it honestly, it's a crazy thing because it just... I'm kind of talking in circles, sorry about that. Alright, so, I mean, there were other cards, like, you know, other brands, like Halpage, not sponsored by the way, Roxio, also not sponsored, and, you know, a few others out there. I don't remember their names. But anyway, those are the first two that come to my mind. Those two brands, you know, they had these capture cards out there, so they kind of started the market, but the market wasn't all that saturated, and it really wasn't all that mature at the time. And so Elgato came out with this great little capture card that just does what it says on the tin. You know, you don't really have to faff around all that much with, you know, drivers and cables and stupid garbage like that. At least not as much at the time. Now it's a little bit different, but that's okay. Anyway, neither here nor there. So Elgato just kind of came around and just jump-started the industry. So this thing pretty much kicked the market to where it is right now. Elgato pioneered the market with this device, and that is a really cool thing. So, like I say, not discounting Elgato's work, but they saw what modders were doing and decided, hey, you know, we see what you guys are trying to do, so why don't we give you some help? And by help, we mean, why don't we just do your work and give you guys a much better device than what you're trying to accomplish? And they did, and that was really cool. So yeah, people began modifying the ITV for use with game consoles and computers via VGA. Elgato saw this and released the GameCapture HD in 2012. The Elgato GameCapture HD is a wonderful little device that connects to an HDMI or RCA/S-video source, usually a game console, and records it to a computer via USB 2.0, while simultaneously passing the source through to a connected display with very minimal loss in quality. The device is compatible with most broadcasting software, such as Open Broadcaster Software, OBS, or OBS, or XSplit Broadcaster, which is the one that I use and highly recommend. And the reason why I recommend XSplit, also not a sponsor, neither is OBS, I just, you know, whatever, is because it's the most polished software that you can get, in my personal opinion. I've been using XSplit for, you know, years, since, you know, 2013, and it's just been a great little software, and I've been so proud to be able to witness its evolution from, you know, just a very niche, you know, piece of software to this huge thing that, you know, professional news corporations and things like that are using. So this software isn't just like, you know, oh, it's only for capture cards. No, it's not like that at all. You can totally use it for professional applications, which I have done on numerous occasions. So as I said, this is not sponsored by XSplit. I just really love the software, and I just wanted to say, hey, you know, these guys are really good. I've had great experiences with them over time, and they've just been very good for me. So anyway, let's move on. So that's XSplit. I recommend either OBS or XSplit Broadcaster. Oh, excuse me, there it is. Vomit flavor, neat. All right, moving on. All right. If you find the included GameCapture software to be lacking, or simply desire more customizable features such as scenes or image/text overlays, which is the primary reason why I use XSplit, because I do a lot of mixing of content sources, which you can't really do with Elgato's GameCapture software, as far as I know. It's been a very long time since I've ever even used the software. I used it once, you know, just to get everything set up and test everything and make sure everything was connected properly and was working, before I delved into XSplit, but after that, I didn't touch it. So it's probably changed a lot over the years. I don't really know what its specifics are at this time, as I haven't really kept up with the software, I haven't used it, etc. So I don't know. Your mileage may vary, is what I'm saying, with the GameCapture software. But I know for a fact that XSplit's very good. And Open Broadcaster is good too, don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere near as polished as XSplit at all. So anyway, moving on. The GameCapture HD is capable of recording up to 1280 by 1080p at 30 frames per second. It shows up as a webcam to most broadcasting software. That bit of information is outdated, because XSplit, at least with XSplit that is, XSplit has programmed in capture cards and things like that, so now they actually show up as capture cards instead of webcams. But when I first started, and apparently when I wrote this article / video script whatever thing, it showed up as a webcam. But yeah, now that has been fixed. It no longer shows up as a webcam, shows up as a capture card as intended. Everything's groovy. So anyway, moving on. So how well does it work? Pretty well, as a matter of fact. There's a bit of a delay in the signal going to the computer due to hardware limitations and the connection speed limits of USB 2.0. I've got a pretty extensive recording setup and use XSplit Broadcaster to bring it all together. I've used this setup for a very long time, at least a solid 2 years, probably more now. Like I said, this script is very old. I began doing video stuff on YouTube in 2013, and it's 2017 right now, so yeah, you do the math. So that's a long time. But anyway, it's like 5 years or something, 6 years, I don't know. But anyway, I've used this setup for a very long time, and let me tell you, it has worked pretty much flawlessly since the day I bought it. Yes, there are some hiccups here and there, just random program glitches, at least in the early days. I don't know how the Elgato HD, or how the Elgato GameCapture HD will work with modern XSplit software today, because I haven't been using this piece of equipment. Like I mentioned earlier, this capture card is actually going to my friend Robert, which has happened and he already has it. Aside from a few hiccups setting it up, it appears to all go well, as far as I know. I've only gotten called 3 times because of tech problems with it, so in all honesty, that's very low. So I have logged countless hours streaming and recording video for my various YouTube ventures. This thing has definitely earned its keep. There are better options out there these days, such as the Elgato GameCapture HD60, the HD60S, and the HD60 Pro. There are better options out there these days, but it is still a solid investment for those either just starting out, or if you need S-video capture specifically and don't want to drop another $100 after you buy a capture card that only has HDMI, such as in my case. I am using the HD60, by the way, now, which is why I was able to give Robert that Elgato GameCapture HD. But anyway, neither here nor there. Like I say, it's still a solid investment for those either just starting out or in need of S-video capture, and will provide you with hours upon hours of amazing looking footage. I said amazing, I meant great. It's very good. Like, the capture is very, very good, and I'll actually be showing you some examples. This is going to be kind of a long video, and I apologize for that, but I will be showing you some examples of older videos that I had recorded, back in 2014, 2015, before I got my new capture card. Well, my then new capture card. But so anyway, I will have those pieces of videos in right now. Hey everybody, this is Sailod Gran. I'm here with you guys today, and this is Sailod vs. Minecraft Season 3, Day 00. This area has been cleared a lot. That's due to my sound testing, which brings us to the other thing that you might notice. You can hear Minecraft! It's amazing, right? I know, I agree. So, another thing you can hear, if you will join me for a song that I have made called Jazzercised. This is the patched version, which is one that has been... Basically, when I mean patched, I mean a synth was messed up that I had to fix, and I fixed it, so therefore this is the patched version. Anyway, so that can be happy in the background, looping, driving me insane. So anyway, yeah, so this is kind of the spiel. I'm just kind of messing around, exploring right now, just kind of getting the bearing for where oh, what the heck? Where the hell did you come from? Oh my god. Whoa. Hey, hey, buddy. You should go somewhere else. Okay, so I don't even need to do anything. Quit running away. Uh-huh. See ya, stupid. I don't think so. Do it. Do it. Zoop, zoop. Zoop, zoop. I can't, whatever. My very first attempt was the closest. Zip, zip. Blip. Amphitheater. Haha. Lass. Lass? I'm a guy. Are you blind? Too forward. Time check. 9 minutes. Okay, we good. Too forward, here we come. Anchors away. Pico is setting sail, my darling. Not even remotely close to the cry. I know. I don't care. It's a bizarre looking boat. I mean, you know, I've drawn worse, but just the same. I'm not saying I drew that, I'm just saying. Dear Ford. Who was it nasty? Got the same memory he does. What's that say? Difford Town, a tiny island in the blue sea. Alright, what'd you say? So, who'll be living in here? Let's find out. Gorge your eyes on this. Silk scarf. Right at the cutting edge of fashion. Your eyes twinkling, you appreciate my dazzling style. Oh, a delight. There you go, I want you to have it. Okay, hi. We are back. So, that was the example of what kind of content the Elgato GameCapture HD will give you. Those videos were recorded at 1280 by 720p resolution at 29 frames per second and 30 frames per second. So, very consistent. Also of note, those videos were recorded years ago, so it's not even remotely close to, you know, being current with who I am and, you know, what my content is like, what I'm doing, etc. So these are just very, very old. Like I say, 2014, 2015, around that time, but mostly 2014. So, in any case, the bottom line. What do I rate this this capture card? Well, the bottom line is pros. It's weighty, which means it has great build quality. This thing's a freaking tank. I've dropped it. I've tripped over it. I've, you know, dropped it some more. I dropped it downstairs. I've done all kinds of stupid stuff with it, and there's not even a scratch on it. So this thing is a freaking tank. Even though I say it's a tank, you still shouldn't do anything like really stupid, like throw it at concrete or at the wall or something like that. You know, I mean, come on. Treat your equipment with respect, is what I'm trying to say. So, anyway. Seamless pass-through to display. Plug and play. That's all there is to it. It has an S-video port, which is very nice. However, I have one caveat to that. That being the fact that if you lose the adapter that this device comes with, you are straight screwed. Elgato will not send you a new one, as far as I've been made aware. I've tried to get a new one. They have not bothered to answer. my support requests or anything on Twitter or on their website or anything like that. So, you know, it's been nothing but dead air from them, so that's kind of a negative for customer service there. You know, I lost the adapter. There's nothing I can do about it. I have no idea where it went. It just disappeared, and I've been trying to get a new adapter from them ever since, and it never came. I could never establish contact with them, and that's a negative. I have to say that. That's a downside. So I lost the S-Video to composite / component adapter that came with the device. So that's a negative, I gotta say that. But otherwise, it does have an S-Video port, and with it and the adapter that it comes with, you can record older game consoles that don't support HDMI, such as PS3 or NES, GameCube, etc. All these different things, Wii, you know, things like that. So that could be, you know, the selling point for you if you want to capture those kinds of devices and don't want to spend a whole lot of money on extra adapters for that kind of stuff. So, like I have done. But anyway, it has 2 HDMI ports, 1 input and 1 output. It's powered by USB, so it doesn't have a separate cable to plug in for power, which is very nice. And yeah, like I say, it connects over USB 2.0 for the computer connection and power. But anyway, so the cons. What are the negatives about this thing? It's a little on the blocky side, so it looks a little dated. You know, it's not as smooth or, you know, Zvet as say the Elgato GameCapture HD60, for example. It's not as tight looking as that, or, you know, sexy. But anyway, it's still a very beautiful device, don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful device. It looks great. It's a fingerprint magnet, but once you clean it off with a microfiber cloth, it looks beautiful. Definitely worth showcasing in a glass case when you get big. And you don't need it anymore. Or you're handing off to your best friend, and you know, because they need one. Anyway, moving right along. So neither here nor there. All right. So the actual device itself looks blocky. It's a dated looking style. It's not a bad style at all. I'm just saying, while it will still very much turn heads, it's not as polished as the Elgato GameCapture HD60 or other such devices. But anyway, that's fine. The other negative to it is the 30 frames per second limit, which I understand why that was a thing, but at the same time, you know, it's not a super bad thing, but it is a negative point that I have to bring up. So why is it limited to 30 frames per second? That, unfortunately, is due to the internal hardware on the device. The internal hardware can only process fast enough for 30 frames per second. It cannot process any faster than what it can process, and that is 30 frames per second. So you are not, repeat, NOT, not going to get 60 frames per second out of this device ever. And that is unfortunate, but it will still give you great looking content. It's not a deal breaker. If it is, then, you know, whatever. Which brings us to the next negative point I have with it, which is the sizable delay between actual and recorded events. And this can be a deal breaker if you don't know what you're doing. That's kind of a bummer. And this is something that I had to really screw around with and get it right in XSplit, because at the time XSplit didn't tell you what kind of a delay you needed to put your sources and things like that in. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you buy this device, you get a device that is kind of dated, and it's using much older hardware. The thing came out in 2012. It will only be fast enough to do 30 frames per second, and it will only go as fast as it will go. And so that means that things are going to be delayed. That's to be expected, not only for the old hardware, but also because of USB 2.0. It can only move so much data so fast. So While it is glorious, it is also slightly, you know, slow. So, yes, that was a Halo reference. And you are awesome if you got that. But anyway, alright, so. Alrighty, Cortana, you're awesome. Alright, so, like I say, sizable delay between actual and recorded events. So, if you move your mouse cursor on the screen, it's going to be, you know, just a little bit before it moves on your capture. So, but it will move. It just takes a minute for it to register. But that's fine. That's to be expected. And I wish it wasn't as much of a delay because it has caused me many issues. And the other issue that I have with this delay thing is that it varies. Like, it's not a constant delay of like how long it takes. It used to be when it was brand new, but as it gets older, I don't really know or understand why it happens, but it happens, and it's not all that fun to deal with, because you'll set your, you know, your audio delay. You have to delay your audio in XSplit to match or line up with the video feed from the capture card. That's just a fact of life, but it can take some serious testing to figure that out. And you know, once you get it all dialed in, and it'll be fine for one day, and then the next day, or even like, you know, within 5 minutes, you know, after you've started and stopped a couple of recordings, the delay will have changed. So you'll have to go back in and retune it again. I think that's just due to age, but I don't know for sure. In all honesty, it's still a great capture card. It's not a deal breaker. It's just another thing that you have to deal with this card. But anyway. Another negative point is that it only outputs in HDMI. So if you have an old CRT that doesn't support HDMI, you're either screwed or you're stuck buying, you know, an expensive adapter to convert HDMI into component or composite or S-video or VGA or whatever output that you require. So that is kind of a problem for some people. These days, however, it's not that big of an issue unless you're a purist and you solely like to play your games on a CRT, which I'm not against. I totally understand it. You know, that's going to be an issue for those people because it doesn't output in composite or component. It only outputs in HDMI, and that is kind of a problem. The other issue that I have with it, to wrap up my previous point, however, like I say, in this day and age, most people are going to be using a display that is compatible with HDMI, so it's not really a problem, unless you're a purist, like I say, and you only game on like a CRT, which is not a problem. That's not a negative thing. It's just, you know, some people are like that, and that's totally fine. I totally get why. I totally understand. I'm not saying it's negative. I'm not saying, you know, you're gonna have a bad time. I'm just saying you're gonna have to buy an extra component in order to make that connection happen, which is unfortunate and, you know, is unnecessary. You shouldn't have to do that, is what I'm saying. But anyway, moving on. The second to last negative point that I have about it, it's only USB 2.0. Now we are in a day and age where USB 3.0 is commonplace. I mean, 3.0, 3.1, etc., whatever. You know, USB 3 is commonplace as hell, you know. Everything's USB 3.0 these days. And if it's not, then it freaking should be, because that's the standard for these days. So, it's 2017. If it's not USB 3, then it's not fast enough for me, personally. But in any case, so that's the only bad part there. But I understand why it's only USB 2.0. When this thing came out in 2012, USB 3 was brand new. It had just come out, and adoption of that standard was very little, very, very, very slow. So while it was still a thing, the expensive premium for it was huge, and the adoption for it wasn't very high at the time. So at the time, you know, USB 2.0 was the direct standard and was the speed that everyone was used to. So, you know, whatever. It makes sense. I understand. At the same time, it's still a negative. USB 2.0, while great, is really slow in comparison to USB 3. And I believe that with USB 3.0, the delay between actual and recorded events could be much slower or faster. What I mean by that is that the delay for that could be much less than what it is. So instead of, like, 900 milliseconds or something like that, or even 1500 milliseconds, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was high, I know that. It could be like 2 or 3 milliseconds, you know what I mean? So it could be super fast. But anyway, so that's that. The last thing that I have a problem with this device is I had it in my head a minute ago, and I don't remember what it is. I should have just said it then, but wanted to do things in order. Crap. Yeah, I don't remember. It'll probably come to me at like 3 in the morning or something stupid, but in any case, at the moment, I don't freaking know. Who knows? So, unfortunately, I guess the USB 2.0 thing is my last point for right now. But yeah. In any case, so what do I rate this wonderful little device? Well, I rate it total score 94%. It's a good buy. It will live up to reasonable expectations. And what I mean by reasonable is you have to take into account this thing was made in 2012. That's a very long time ago. Technology has gone leaps and bounds beyond what was available in 2012. So, that's something you have to take into consideration with this device. It's very old. It will still do its job admirably, but you just have to be patient with it because it's so old. But it's still a beautiful and amazing little device. It will do everything you want and more, as long as you are patient with it and are respectful of its limits. So, long lasting, it's durable, it has minor hiccups here and there. I've tested it on 2 Windows 7 64-bit machines and 1 Mac OS machine. It passed with flying colors. 94% recommended for entry-level recording or S-video required settings. A solid investment, absolutely, by all means. And I have updated information with that from my good friend Robert, who is now in possession of my specific device. As far as I've heard, he really likes it. So he enjoys it. It's had a few issues with Windows 8, but whatever. Most of it was driver issues and trying to screw around with XSplit and get that to work, but I assume that's just Windows 8 woes. I don't know, because I don't use Windows 8, I don't use Windows 10, I use Windows 7 and below, basically. So, yeah. But primarily Windows 7 and Mac OS are what I use. But anyway, so that's my experience. But from what I've heard from my friend Robert, it's been doing a great job. I haven't heard any complaints. So, and like I say, I've only been called for tech support 3 times. So, that's not bad at all. Maybe 4, I don't remember. But anyway, it's not a problem at all. So, happy to help. But anyway, so that's this video. I'm gonna get to the outro now. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's very long, and I do apologize for that, but I just had a lot to say about this thing. And I wanted to give a full review on it and explain what it was all about. And do that to the best of my ability. So, thank you for watching this semi-scripted video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, please subscribe. It helps me out, helps out the channel, etc. If you enjoyed the music in this video, you can get it by following the link in the description below, or you can go to my channel page, or channel homepage, click the link in the header to my Google Play page, and grab the music there. in addition to that, if you want to help me out, help out this channel, you can. Like I say, just do what I just said. Go to the link go to the link to my Google Play page, grab some music, helps me out, you get cool stuff, etc. Everybody's happy. And I get to eat, which is important. So, because food equals videos. So, yeah. In any case, that's that, and I will see you in the next video, whatever that may be. So, yeah. As always, thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Loadgren. Peace out. Oh, one last thing that I want to say, and this is kind of just a general update. I do apologize for the delay in these videos. However, that being said, it is way beyond my personal control, so, you know, you just kind of have to bear with me here while this stuff goes on. So I do apologize for that, but it's beyond my control. So, I lost internet at my house for a while, about a month or so, due to things in my personal life that I'm not going to get into, but, yeah, so, and then I was kind of struggling with some kind of depression issues that were happening and some other stuff. But anyway, neither here nor there. So that's that, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll have more for you coming out here pretty soon. Another final note about stuff that's happening. Patreon is going away, so don't bother going there or anything. It's gonna go away if it's not away already. So I have tried to remove all of the links and everything from that as much as I can. If you still see a link, let me know and I'll get rid of it. But in any case, that should be it. And yeah, last thing I want to say is I have a music album coming out called Oceans of Dreams in Darkness. It is a progressive chip music album. So that means chiptunes. What are chiptunes? They're basically kind of like retro music, like think of Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, or, you know, NES, SNES kind of music, you know, things like that. So, it's that kind of music, and it also has some big influence from Sega Genesis music, so that's very cool. In any case, that will be coming out either this month or next month. I haven't really decided yet. Looking at a May or June launch. Hopefully not July. It might be, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. In any case, I will keep you posted on that as best I can. But yeah, it's very nice. It's a very nice album. So one thing to note is that it's only a 3/4 length album. So, but that being said, the overall time, or like, you know, the overall running time for that album is still very long. So, but anyway, I will see you in the next video, and as always, thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out.